Oh, I thought I'd redo this video. Just remembered something I forgot to say, but it's about the clash of autistic traits. They can, of course, clash in one person, the same person, but also they can clash with other people's. So, stims, for instance, we're encouraged to unmask and happily stim in public, but I don't want to do mine in public, some of them. One of them's trichotillomania, which is hair plucking. I don't want to say much more about that, but I don't want to do it that in public. And there's others too, which I'm quite ashamed of, and they might be considered quite gross or antisocial. And I mean, that's a debatable point, isn't it? What's acceptable? But you know, I just don't think, you know, just saying unmask and do them in public is necessarily what I would advocate if you're not happy. So, I mean, yeah, you know, that's what I mean. What if your stims are socially unacceptable? I mean, I would get weird looks doing trichotillomania or trick in public, and some people do skin picking and stuff like that. So, and yeah, well then there's what about the stims that clash with you know, other people's autistic traits. So, you know, for instance, chewing gum, that might be, it helps one person, you know, it might be an ADHD sort of regulation of emotion, but it might trigger a strong reaction in another person who's autistic. And one person, you know, they might not, that noise of it, a lot of people just don't like the noise of loud chewing, for instance. So yeah, one person's stim, maybe another's meltdown. Another example is like, this is more of a, not to do with stims so much, but to do with the clashing of traits. It's like loud music. I used to love playing my music loud and proud, and you know, but then that noise, the noise of it is, you know, it helped me to be creative and things and probably regulate me. But obviously the noise can impinge on other people. And I was on the receiving end for years of that. And, you know, other people's music at other people's times, which I had no control over, caused me to have meltdowns. And so that just made me, you know, have to be more considerate, because, you know, I knew what it was like. It's like I had no control over, and it was horrible. And it was that. So, and no control can cause you to have meltdowns. And so, yeah, this the whole thing about, it's not just stims, as you say, loud music might not be sociable. I mean, these things are all debatable, but, you know, your own needs to do your stims or play your music or whatever, your trait, which you need for regulation, might clash with somebody else's and cause them to melt down, shut down. And there's so many other autistic traits that can clash with another. So what happens if my need to be honest, you know, triggers, you know, I say something to you that is, you know, I've got to be honest, and that triggers rejection sensitive dysphoria in you, or vice versa. You might say something and I get upset by it. And what if my oversharing causes you sensory overload, or shutdown, or meltdown, or burnout? And, you know, here's another example. Children shrieking. I can't bear the noise of children shrieking, whereas somebody might not be able to parent their children, or their children might be having a meltdown. But their meltdown might be assaulting my ears. And so I've got to sort of, you know, ear up or earplug up, or, you know, which, you know, I do have to have the things to, you know, we are oversensitive to sound and all the senses, actually. So not everyone's oversensitive. Some people are undersensitive, but, you know, there is that sort of, you know, effect of how we perceive the senses. So Yeah, so it's not so easy to navigate the ADHD world because of these so many traits clashing. And yeah, I just wondered what other people's thoughts were of in that arena. You know, what do you do, and how do you resolve it, really, if at all? Those are my thoughts for today. Thank you. Bye.